This week has brought record high heat, extremely dry conditions, and now wind. It is a recipe for critical fire danger. Red flag warnings are now in effect for the entire Columbia Basin, central and southern Washington. That's in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. And people need to be extremely careful, doing everything they can to prevent starting new wildfires. Includes respecting our local burn bans, extinguishing campfires, safely getting rid of cigarettes, and not parking on dry grass.
We are also tracking some breaking news out of Stevens County at this hour. That's where dozens of firefighters are battling a wind-driven wildfire near Loon Lake. At last check, it was about 10 acres in size, and crews say one garage and one shed have so far been lost. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for Krempton News at 6. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Whitney Ward. So we know that fire was first reported around 2:30 this afternoon. It is burning near a public boat launch as well as near the Shore Acres Resort. So crews are fighting that fire from the ground. And as you saw from the air, they're still working to protect homes in that area.
Let's get straight to Krempton 2's Regina on. She's been on scene for a couple of hours now. And Regina, what's the latest?
Yeah, so the latest is that it is still at the 10-acre level right now. So fire crews keeping it steady at this point. But it's really interesting because as we've been standing here for the last several hours, whenever there is a calm in the wind, it clears up. And then once the wind starts to pick up, it is so smoky out here. And I just wanted to give a kudos out to the firefighters working so diligently out here. About 55 crew members are out here today. And I was told that they're going to be here for the next 3 days throughout the night. And the DNR helicopter that is pouring water over the hot spots will also be here throughout the evening as well. So working so tirelessly to get this fire out and controlled. At this point, the exterior is controlled, and so now they're working on the interior, and that is the hardest part because that is all done by hand. So firefighters have to go in and control that fire in that area. So I have here with me Steve Harris from the DNR here today. So thank you for sticking around here for us and chatting with us. So can you tell me what is happening at this moment?
Right now, it's just a lot of hard work. Building fire line, getting a good solid line down to mineral soil around the fire, and then cleaning up those unburned fuels between the fire and the fire line, and then a lot of digging and stirring and mopping and putting the fire out.
And you're talking about how this is fairly early in the year, so that obviously is creating a little bit of a concern, right?
It is. In this fuel type, with it being so, typically this green brush ground would not be burning like this in June, first part of June, and we'd expect in July, August when the brush starts drying out. So seeing fire in this fuel type is a concern for us, and just showing just how dry it is right now.
And it doubled up in size fairly quickly. What was the cause of that particular increase?
The big factor here today was the fuel and the slope and the wind. A fire started near the bottom of the slope and had a hillside to run up, and fires like to run uphill, and with wind behind it, everything was in the fire's advantage today.
And what can we do as a community to help this? Because it's still in the investigation process right now, but initial reports is showing that it is human caused. So what can people do out there to help at least, during fire season?
The best thing you can do for landowners is to make sure you have good defensible space around your structures and clean up around your place. Make sure there's no ignitable materials around your house. And then help prevent fires by doing what Smokey's taught us, to surround and drown and put our fires out. Make sure your burn piles from this winter, if you were a forest landowner burning slash piles, make sure those are put out, and just be careful with fire.
Okay, Steve, well, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for all that you're doing for the community here. And again, guys, they will be here throughout the evening. Of course, that helicopter also is taking a break right now, but will be up all throughout the night. And just wanted to note that, the work that they're doing here is just simply incredible. I just cannot express that enough. Being here for the last several hours, it's really, really amazing what they do. So let's keep it in mind, all of that. But for now, live here in Stevens County, Regina on Krempton News.
Regina, thank you very much. Also at this hour, we are tracking a fire in Okanogan County and near the town of Riverside. Fire crews are still on the scene there. It started actually as a house fire and then quickly spread to about 25 acres, of course, fanned by that wind. The fire burned up a hill and into a canyon. DNR, though, was able to respond quickly, putting a lot of resources on it as fast as possible just to keep it from spreading any further. We're told fire crews do have it under control. No one was injured in the initial house fire, although that home is a total loss. Also, big thanks to Brock Hires with the Omak Chronicle for sharing these photos with us. So on that note, we want to bring in our chief meteorologist, Tom Sherry, to talk a little bit about the conditions because the wind not really going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah, Tom, we know that red flag warning is in effect until 10 tonight, but there's a lot going on that's really, not great for fire conditions right now.
Not at all. We have a red flag warning in effect through 10 o'clock tonight across many parts of central Washington. The fire up on Stevens County, the Shore Acres fire up on Loon Lake right now. Temperatures are still in the upper 70s. Current temperature of 78 degrees, and the winds are gusting at about 17 miles per hour. Tonight and tomorrow, though, we could see wind gusts up to 30 to 35 miles per hour as a cold front moves into the area. There's that red flag warning in effect through portions of the Palouse, Lower Columbia Basin, north central Oregon, and of course central Washington as well. Because of the tinder dry conditions out there, and most of those areas shaded in red saw temperatures in the upper 90s this week and even lower 100s. Right now we're at 79 degrees and the wind is blowing a consistent wind. The average wind speed is 22 miles an hour. So yeah, it is really blowing. For the weekend, here's that colder air, 69 and windy on Saturday with wind gusts to 35 miles an hour. Mostly sunny on Sunday with a daytime high of 67. I'll check your 10-day forecast coming up in a couple of minutes.
For that, Tom, thank you very much. Now to video of a vandal putting lives at risk. Today, cameras spotted him planting a bicycle frame on busy I-90 on an overpass there on the west side, and then chucking big rocks into oncoming traffic.
Wow. Lionel Donovan from our Seattle sister station is letting us know now what state troopers are doing about this incredibly dangerous stunt.
Traffic cams are documenting a dangerous course of events. Someone running onto the I-90 freeway, throwing a bike frame into the path of cars, then going back to pick things up and throw them at cars speeding past. Police eventually arrive, chasing the person off. Officers in the State Patrol say they're working on trying to find the person or people responsible because the potential for injury or even death can't be overstated.
Yeah, you have your car moving at freeway speed and an object like that, I mean, it's going to absolutely go through a window. We really feel for they're victims of a crime.
Trooper Johnson went on to say that identifying the people putting drivers in danger like this can be difficult given the situation, but pedestrians can be vital.
What we really need is somebody, on the overpass, saying, hey, I saw this individual do this, they went this direction, this is the description, this is what they're wearing. So we have actionable, information to be able to, find the individual.
Multiple law enforcement agencies are now working together to try to establish a pattern as best they can. But unfortunately, there's only so much law enforcement can do.
It's not something we can enforce our way out of here because we can't tell you not to throw rocks. You're making a conscious decision to commit that crime. So, and that's just kind of where we are. And yes, it is frustrating.
So now the WSP says there hasn't been anything to come out to suggest that certain areas are being targeted or that these kinds of incidents are increasing in any meaningful way. Tonight they are calling on people with any information to reach out to them as soon as possible.
Wow. Just yesterday, Governor Jay Inslee announced incentives to encourage people to get vaccinated against COVID-19. But ever since that announcement, some people have learned they actually don't qualify. We've got details on why coming up next.